Hello. I have offered to talk about harmonics and the tips that my teacher gave me on playing the harmonics. And at least one of you, Yola, took me up on it. So I'm doing an exercises segment in my exercises gong on harmonics. It's about artificial harmonics and mostly the ones where one stops the string with the first finger and then just touches with the fourth finger, like a fourth interval above that, right? But the basics is best explained with natural harmonics, and if one has any empty string, like for example A string, and then puts the finger right in the middle between the bridge and the nut, so that looks a little bit higher than the middle, but it's actually exactly the middle if you see that it goes up to the bridge, right? So in the middle, then just touch with the finger, then the sound that comes out is just an octave above the empty string. So this is A and fingered A. So, and the reason is that in this case, I mean, if we put down the finger, then this length of the string would vibrate, and if we just touch there, then both parts, this part and this part, they both vibrate, so there's like a note in the middle, and it's very hard to see with the violin, so maybe if someone on a cello wants to demonstrate, but it's best seen with the G string. So here, so even this lower part vibrates in that case. So if I just touch very lightly with the first finger, then I can, of course I will disturb the sound, but I can also feel the vibration, okay? And one can see I don't know if you can see it. If I lift my finger, then for a moment the higher octave will still sound, and then it's possible to see the vibrations that they are stopped in the middle, so there's this note, right? Okay, so that's the principle for halving the length of the vibrating string. And then if one puts the finger down where the third finger is the D on the A string normally, then that actually halves the string again, so we have a fourth of the string, so the lower part is a fourth and the upper part is 3/4, and that the consequence is that the whole string will vibrate in 4 equal parts, so that's again 1 octave higher. And it's the same if I do it here, then this is a fourth, and from the top to the finger is 3/4, and then the vibration will even out within the strings. So that's the principle, that if you touch the string lightly at some even division of the string, then the string will vibrate in the smallest divisions, right? And to play artificial harmonics, it's the same principle. It's just that you like how do you call these things, a capo, like you do with the guitar, where you just shorten the fingerboard, and here you do that with the first finger. So now the first finger is my nut, and I have this length of the string, and I can again, by putting a finger there where the fourth interval is, I can again get a note that is 2 octaves above the first finger. Just like here, if I do the D, or touch the D lightly, then I get 2 octaves above A. And if I put down the first finger at the B, and then put the fourth finger to E, this is A, and this is B, C sharp, D, and so forth. So with this technique, one gets the fingered note, but 2 octaves higher. So that's the way it works. And the way it's written is that you normally have, where you put the first finger, you have a normal note, and then you have this little open diamond note where the fourth finger goes. And that is a notation for how to produce a sound. But the sound that, the note that sounds is always the lower sound. Okay, so then the question is how to get these harmonics ring, or I'm using the word sound in so many different meanings, but how to get them to sound, right? First idea is that the first finger, because it's the equivalent of the nut, it has to be put down very firmly, so it really has to be a rigid nut. It cannot be fuzzy or soft, right? So even if normally one doesn't really have to press down too hard on the fingerboard, but with harmonics one does have to do that. So that's for the left hand. The first finger must be down very precisely and very heavily, and then also the hand should kind of be open. So that means bringing the elbow under, and like if you do vibrato, also have a distance here between here the hand and the fingerboard. So you shouldn't touch, but it should be open so that the other strings are as undisturbed as possible. So. So I can play all kinds of, I can just move up the fingerboard, and of course in the higher positions the distance between first and fourth finger will be smaller, like in regular playing, right? So you always finger the fourth interval, but the fourth finger is not pressed down, only touching. So that's all about the left hand. Then of course there's intonation, but actually, the first finger has to be put down in tune so that the the melody works, right? But you can play a harmonic anyway, so anywhere. So this would be an in tune B, and that would be an out of tune B. But I can play a harmonic above that note, so yeah, just for the fact that the note should sound, it's not even necessary to have the first finger in tune. Okay, so, and then all the rest is with the bow, and the bow should be, I mean, it's a little bit delicate to get the right combination of weight and speed and sounding point. And sometimes it's recommended to play with high bow speed, with a fast bow, but my teacher suggested to play with a slower bow, but a bit heavier than in the lower part of the bow. So not something like that, but that also can work, but maybe also not for this Chardash movement, because it's more like a singing sound, right? So and then the important thing is not to disturb the bow, so the speed must be very, very even, and there cannot be some kind of hesitation or speeding up or anything. It has to be just just perfect. So that's the hard part. And also my teacher recommended to play the harmonics with flat hair, so all the hair should be on the string, and that also means that the flat hair has to continue up to the to the frog, or too close to the frog, where one changes the string. It cannot we cannot play the harmonic like and then turn in. I mean, that was very exaggerate. It didn't sound so bad. I mean, it sounded good now, but if you do that, it's just an additional hazard, I think, and particularly when you also do the down bow then. So let's see. Okay, so that's basically the tips that he gave me, and then what needs to be practiced is actually the bow changes, particularly if there's also a change of the note itself. Like, I mean, it's okay if one just moves the whole hand up, but if one has like the empty string with the third finger, one has to put down the first finger very precisely and the fourth finger very lightly, and it has to be simultaneous, of course, so that's tricky. And particularly if there are string changes, that's also tricky. But yeah, okay. So the way to practice, I think, is first of all for intonation, okay, just practice with the first finger down. But see that you keep the open hand position. So the fourth finger should be in, ready to touch, right? So otherwise it's no use of practicing the intonation, because if you change your hand position, if you want to play the harmonics, then you will not benefit from your practice before that, right? So, and then really, I mean, the way I'm practicing them is to repeat a single note several times until it is okay, and then do the next note and the next note, and you can also practice with scales, of course, but also with the melody itself. Okay, so that's the part that has to be practiced. Okay, so these are the ways that I am at least moderately successful with these Chardash harmonics, and one way of approaching them. Okay, so that's it. Have fun with trying this out, and yeah, we can continue to talk about it if you're interested. Bye for now.